All right, welcome to the Wyld Farm Family Fun Show. Everything on this show, we talk about farm, food, family, and most importantly, fun. We got some dogs on the show today. How are you doing, buddy? So it looks like Nick's going to be sharing his kids with us tonight. And we're often notorious for me bringing my kids on, but Nick's kids, all the little dog action. But yeah, so thank you anybody that's joining us live. We have an awesome guest plural tonight, actually. That is no different awesomeness than any other week. And so we're excited to dig into their stories and their journey. But Nick, how are you?
I am fantastic, Troy. Thank you so much. Happy Tuesday, everyone. And I hope all of you had an amazing and fun and lovely Easter holiday weekend. And I'm very excited to have guests, plural, on the show tonight. And the reason why I brought my dog Cooper up, Troy, was I know we were talking right before we got on live tonight about, not knowing if my food's any good. Cooper's probably my best customer. Let's call it that. So maybe one of these times we're gonna do a Wyld Farm Family Fun Show that features dogs, and we'll whip up something for your dog. So
yes. Yeah, I love that. Plus, when we had Joel Salatin on, we talked about how much
dog food
people, billions of dollars spent on dog food every year. Like, people actually spend more money on their pets than they do on themselves. And so, if you're curious to hear a little bit more about how that story went, check out the Joel Salatin episode that we did. It was a bonus episode, but that was crazy.
That was crazy, yeah. So anyway, Troy, I do want to ask, like, how was your guys' Easter weekend, and what did you guys do for fun? And then we'll bring up our amazing guests for tonight.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was the first time we got to see some of the family in a long time. Probably, maybe I imagine that for many families out there because of COVID. Unfortunately, I wanted to see my brother because I haven't seen him in like a year. And they couldn't make it this time because they had a sick kid, but we got to see a lot of family. Weather was awesome here in Michigan, and so yeah, it was great, man. How was your Easter?
Yeah, it was great. I got to be with family, and kind of like with so many others, it was just out there just seeing family and just kind of not maybe quite as tense, and so it was just I don't know. Maybe you had the same experience, but it just felt for some reason it just felt extra special. And we had some really beautiful weather here, this part of the world. And so, I mean, Troy, how did it feel to be with your family after being separated? And I'm sure you were welcoming or introducing your daughter to your family for the first time. I mean, that must have just been like unbelievable. So maybe a little bit there, and then if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, it was. It was the first time that at least the grandparents have had a chance to see her and hold her.
Wow.
Which was awesome. I know, isn't that crazy, man? Like, for your family or your grandparents to have to wait to hold your daughter is crazy. But we were just trying to be safe over the last year, which I imagine most people were feeling the same thing. And it felt nice to be there and see them and celebrate it with them, for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad for her grandparents' sake that they finally got to meet your beautiful daughter and hold her and just love on her. And I'm just really grateful to hear that you guys just had a lovely Easter weekend, and hopefully no ripstick blunders. But well, I'm not sure. I didn't get any. Didn't see anything on the videos there without Troy falling on the ripstick. But
well, I owe you some more videos. I've been practicing. Trevin's been nice enough to loan me his. I've been out there racing a little bit. It's a pretty good workout, actually. So how you're grinding the arms in the kitchen, I'm getting my leg workouts out there on the ripstick. So.
Maybe I need a little ripstick for the kitchen. Like I could just go right back and forth. Why not?
I'm gonna purchase one and I'm gonna send it to your house. The next episode, I want you rip sticking around your countertop, island countertop there as you're cooking. No exceptions.
That's challenge accepted.
Awesome. All right, guys. So as always, we have some amazing guests. It's actually kind of a treat for me because tonight's guests are actually close friends of mine, and a guy that I've known for years, and I've been fortunate to meet his now fiance just recently, and hopefully they'll talk a little bit about that. But I'm excited to introduce Dustin and Christyna from Michigan. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Hello. Welcome.
How you guys doing?
We're great. Thank you so much for joining us, Dustin and Christyna, and congratulations on the engagement. We sort of spilled those beans. Thanks, Troy. But we're both very honored and grateful to have the both of you on for tonight. And so we would love to start every episode just by like, who are you? What are you up to in the world? And what's a fun fact?
Ooh. Fun fact. Well, my name's Christyna and this is Dustin. And we're going on being together for 4 years. And during the 4 years, we started Voyage Bowls, and we've had a little baby. He's 1.5 years old, and then recently we've gotten engaged. So we've kind of just like full throttled our life in 4 years. So
yeah,
that's amazing. That's pretty fun, I would say, right? That's all pretty fun. You starting up a business, having a baby, getting engaged. I don't know what else would be more fun, but that's amazing.
So let's back up a little bit though. I want to dig into the stories, personal stories of you, because I know there's some health in there, nutrition. There's some theater, which I need to dig in on this avenue. But then I want you to really dive into the journey of how Voyage Bowls came to be, and everything, and then how what you guys are going to do with it in the future. But let's start with you, Christyna. Tell us about yourself on your journey to where you're at now.
Well, I graduated from Grand Valley with a degree in biomedical science and then a minor in chemistry. And at the time I was bartending off and on throughout college when I was getting my degree. And afterwards, I just kept bartending, trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. And I left bartending and was working at a doctor's office. And I just wasn't that happy with where I was. There wasn't any windows where I was working, and a lot of the time people didn't care about their health or where they were going. And so then we kind of stumbled upon the idea of Voyage Bowls. Well, it first started off as Voyage Juice. And then we kind of just ran with the idea, and we found a food truck on Facebook Marketplace and kind of ran with it. And then we've been running with it ever since. So
Awesome. And so obviously behind that is a deep-seated passion for health, right? Because I can hear it from your voice that not only where you were working, but you felt the need that people around you maybe needed to hear about healthy food more. Is that kind of what we're getting from you?
Yes, exactly. It's always been something that I've been really passionate about. And I also wanted to be around people who wanted to help themselves in a way too, that I could, that people could run with that and
encourage a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, encourage a healthy lifestyle.
Or just be a part of a community, that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always been something that's been passion of mine. And so when Voyage Bowls came about, I secretly have always wanted to be a chef. I used to watch Top Chef and pretend like I could be on there. So in a way, it's kind of like fulfilling that secret passion of mine too, because you get to create healthy things. And
yes,
I think part of like living a healthy life, it's not just being active and working out or being outside. It's also what you are putting into your body and where it's coming from and how you can affect the people around you. And we kind of lucked out of where we actually parked the food truck because it's at the YMCA in Grand Haven. So there are a lot of younger kids there, and it's exciting when they get a bowl or a smoothie and they're really excited about it and they think it tastes so good to them and they want to keep coming back for it.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Instead of going to get ice cream, or they can still go get ice cream. That's fine. But that's into their lifestyle. It's great seeing kids like have, sort of that excitement for it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, Nick and I very strongly believe in knowing where your food comes from and feeding your bodies. And, Nick's very ingrained in that. I know Nick, besides being a chef, he's a health coach too. So he's probably along the same lines as you, Christyna.
Yeah.
And if you really did want to explore that a little further, I'm almost certain that Nick would love to share his journey with you into food and being a chef, if that was truly a journey you wanted to explore too.
It's not that hard. Trust me.
So
it's not like having to get on Top Chef or anything like that.
all they need is a dog named Cooper to test their food, right?
Yeah, all you need is a dog. So
Awesome.
So before I'm just curious here. You said you were dating for about 4 years?
Yep.
Okay, so how long has Voyage Bowls been around? And like, Dustin, when did you kind of enter the picture? Were you at the bar? Like, was she serving you drinks and you guys like conceived this thing? Like, how did you guys meet? Yeah, I got to know this story here.
Okay, well, I'll try to make this a short story because it's rather long.
Well,
it was a rather long courtship.
Yeah. Well, Voyage Bowls, we're going into our 4th summer, so of being open. But anyway,
so that was like a year into dating. So
yeah,
been dating 5 years already.
So it might be 5 years actually.
It's probably 5.
Usually the guy doesn't remember, but it's fine.
Yeah. So funny thing, she was bartending when I first met her actually, and I was out. I'd never been good at actually, picking up girls at the bar. Never felt really confident or comfortable. I just felt it was kind of cliche. So that was sort of the last thing I would probably do. But she was working. It was kind of like that Wayne's World moment when I saw her.
The foxy lady.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, well, I can't leave without talking to this girl. So I went up to her. I said, I told her I was leaving with my friends, but I just wanted to introduce myself. So I introduced myself. She was very polite, even though she was really busy. And then over the next couple of years, we just kind of run into each other on the fly. I had a conversation with her at another bar when she wasn't working and she was with her boyfriend, but I offered to buy her a drink.
Nice.
Denied me there, but then a couple of years kind of went by. We both had life stuff going on, and eventually she came up on my Facebook. Matter of fact, Justin and reached out to her and just politely tried to ask if she'd like to get a drink or anything. And she had just broken up with her boyfriend, so I was like feeling pretty lucky. And but and then she unfriended me actually.
Okay, I had gotten on Tinder and I had a bad experience with guys for a while, so I was just kind of like through all that, like unfriend him.
And then one night I picked up a solo show at a local tavern. I play music as well. And it was like a random Saturday night. Their guy had bailed, and so they called and asked if I could play. I said, sure. She had randomly gotten the night off. And then I was 3 songs done from my set. She comes walking in the back door. Another Dreamweaver Wayne's World moment. And so I go talk to her afterwards, and the rest was pretty much history. We started dating.
But he had previously said in a message that he had something he wanted to show me or something that he made. So when I met him that night, I go, oh, so what were you talking about? Like, what did you have that you wanted to give me? And he just started serenading me at the bar. No guitar, like no microphone, nothing. Just And he started snapping his fingers and he started singing the song at the bar.
Yeah. Good old music soul child from the 90s.
Way to go, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been
So
a
that
while.
was
It's pretty. I mean, we like telling it because it's exciting. But I fell in love with her the minute I saw her. So just was patient and confident. And for it.
What way to be persistent, man. I love it. Right? Probably when you bought that drink for her when she was with her boyfriend, maybe she said no, but she said no with a wink.
Yeah.
No.
It was very polite that night.
Awesome. Well, all right, Dustin. So in there you mentioned solo and singing and everything. So first of all, tell me about the background in theater, because I've known you for years now and I didn't know that about you. And so I want to hear that. And then tell us about your music, your band, and everything. And then, of course, I want to dive in more into Voyage Bowls and what you guys are up to.
Yeah, sure. Theater just came. I actually kind of ran in my family a little bit. An uncle on my dad's side was on Broadway, and my grandma would just always talk about him when I visited, and just kind of really kind of opened my eyes to this sort of different world, of art. And starting like 5th, 6th grade, they had a drama club at school, and my best friend was really into that. So I started doing that, and so I ended up being kind of a thespian throughout high school, doing lots of different, stuff, but not just our school, but the local college, and really just kind of dove into it. Really loved the community, and I'd have to say, I don't know if it's middle child syndrome or just like, I like to be in the spotlight, or just kind of I think, it took me a while to really meditate into it, and I think it was really like I enjoy entertaining people, making them smile, making them think, making them laugh, and so after high school, I didn't really know what else to do. So I said, well, I'll go to school for theater, and get an education while I'm at it. So I graduated with an undergrad in theater from Grand Valley, moved to Chicago the year after I graduated, and I was working with a theater company that a friend of mine from our hometown actually had started. And so doing like, not just acting, but costume design, staffing, that sort of thing. And then my daughter was born, 14 now, but her mom was from Grand Haven, and so we moved to Grand Haven, and I've been here ever since. Did a few kind of professional theater things when I got back and was raising her, and then just decided that to pursue my passion in music, because as much as I love theater, one of the hard things about it for me was being inside all the time. Actually, I decided I didn't really want to do something where I was kind of stuck inside all the time. I wanted sort of a little more freedom to be able to explore and go places and whatnot. I missed a lot growing up because I was doing shows and stuff. So I just so I put energy into music and started doing shows, picking up. Well, actually, I started doing open mics, and then got good enough where people were willing to pay me a few bucks to play at their local establishment. Met a few guys, ended up being in a band for a little while, met my current bandmate in that band, and so been doing it for close to 10 years now.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And everybody's going to get to, if you're joining us, there's a few people joining us live, but also anyone that's going to listen to this later are going to get to hear Dustin play, because he's going to play a little segment for us. But if you ever get a chance to catch him live, you're super talented, man. You not only do you play guitar, but you have the harmonica going and you sing, and it's incredible. I remember the first time I watched you, I was just like, I had like these goosebump feelings because of how talented you were. I'm being dead serious, man. It was very cool. So we're fortunate to have you on, and hopefully listeners will get to see a little bit of that live here, which would be excellent.
Great. Yeah.
I have a quick question for you, Dustin. It might not be quick, but So you mentioned earlier like how much you enjoy like bringing laughter and just positive emotions, and it very well may have been the reason why you this beautiful woman to the next to you fell in love with you. But what is it about music and that performance and that piece? Like, what is it about you that that really lights up your soul? Like, what are you really giving to others, and why is that so important to you?
So music, when I was kind of doing some searching, in my 20s, I just understood it to be something that was something that I always kind of had engaged in, even from like a really young age, and something that stuck with me as strong memories, and so being in band, having a music really helped, I think, as I got older. But I didn't know for a lot of years, how I actually felt about it. I always knew that there was those moments when I was in those places where, kind of like Troy said, you get these chills or you get these goosebumps, and you're just like, you feel like you're just doing something that is lighting your soul, kind of like he said, like, this feels right now. And so not only that, but I just, the environment that I'm in, I always try to be a positive person, look on, be optimistic, look on the bright side, and maybe spread that message too. So a lot of the lyrics that I write, Bob Marley was a big inspiration growing up. And that sort of positive message that always comes out of, so much of his music was something that I think I took and kind of write down, maybe thoughts or struggles that I had, but then also thinking about and translate that into the lyrics. Well, how can I make it better? What's the positive outcome of it? And so to try to spread just peace, love, and passion, and yeah, just hopefully help some people just enjoy the moment, or enjoy their day, or take something away that maybe is thought provoking, or that they can relate to.
Thank you for expanding on that and sharing that with us. And that's amazing that you have such a strong passion and intention to just bring positivity and that mindset, not just through your music, but I'm sure how you show up in every area of your life. So thanks for sharing that, Dustin.
Thank you.
Well, I'm just curious. This is an interesting question, Dustin. I'm just curious. Like, I started thinking about music when I was growing up as a kid, and we go through these phases. Like, I remember being in high school, my friends listened to bands like 311 and Sublime, and so naturally, like, that became my music. But then I went through this phase of like heavy metal, right? Like Breaking Benjamin and everything, and so. Like, I'm just curious, like, has it always been like Bob Marley type music, or like was like music a different part of your life when you were younger? Like, I'm curious because like I got just naturally started thinking about this progression for me.
Yeah, no, totally different. And there's certain styles of music that I didn't learn to appreciate till I was in my 30s. Just same sort of thing. What you're exposed to, I think, when you're younger is something that sticks with you. So I was actually a big R&B fan in when I was in my adolescence, like Boyz II Men, TLC, like all those bands. But then, my dad had made me a mixtape when I was younger that had like Brooks and Dunn and, some Bob Marley, but Grateful Dead, and I remember back then, like, I didn't want to listen to that. I wanted to listen to my brother's, mixtape that he had made that had some more like AC/DC and stuff like that on it,
Yeah.
But then I got older and started realizing, I think part of it too is once you have a little bit more experience, like just with music and instruments and whatnot, you start to really, really appreciate those things that maybe sounded to you before, but are really elegant or creative that they had made before. So it's been a total journey.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that, man. I tried to think about, well, I don't know if you guys watch American Idol ever or anything, but I try to think about every time I watch that show, it doesn't matter like what genre they step up to the plate and they sing. Like when they sing and it comes from some place, you feel it. And it's amazing because it's like that voice I've never heard before, or sung that way I've never heard before. And all of a sudden, like genres of music just kind of disappear. And all of a sudden it's like this person that is just like speaking to you in this heartfelt way. And I don't know. I wanted to get that journey from you because I'm sure a lot of people experience that as they grow up and the music that they listen to.
Yeah. You never know. There's always something new that might strike you.
Yeah. All right. So Voyage Bowls, break it down a little bit more for us. I know I actually have some pictures to share with everybody because I know you guys are going through some demolition work or some remodeling work, but tell us more about Voyage Bowls, like how it works, what are like acai bowls, why do people get so excited when they come to your truck and everything? Like share about that experience and the food itself and the bowls. Dig into there a little bit.
All right. So, well, when we first started, we wanted to make something or give something to people that we could stand behind 100%. We didn't want to like half-ass stand behind something. And it's not necessarily something that we totally like, sorry. Then, so our acai, we get from this company called Tambor. It's straight out of Brazil.
Nice.
And they don't add any sweetener to the acai that we get, and we get it frozen. And so since they don't add sweetener, we actually take ripened bananas and we slice them up ourselves and freeze them. And that's all that we use to make the base of our bowls. And at first, like looking up frozen bananas, and we've even bought frozen bananas like from the store, but they had ascorbic acid in it. It just didn't taste right. And they had other things in there to preserve it. So that's our base of our acai. And then we also have dragon fruit bowls and we have blue magic bowls. Those are our bases. And then we get creative randomly throughout the weeks and come up with our own protein-based bowls. And then we also have smoothies, and all of our smoothies we make with fresh fruit and vegetables, and we don't use any syrups or anything else. Our sweeteners that we use is honey and maple syrup. And that's basically it besides the fresh fruit.
We have a puppy bowl too.
Oh yeah, we do have a puppy bowl.
So we'll share
Hey, there you go.
Treat your dogs to a puppy bowl.
We get some pretty puppies there.
That's cool.
That is awesome. I know that just tells me right there that, you mentioned that it really just isn't about the food that you like so wonderfully prepare and what you're sourcing it from, which is amazing. And I really acknowledge like the commitment that you go to like bring the healthiest food possible, but the truck creates an experience. It creates a community, right? With the kids and the dogs. So that I would love for you to expound on why that community is so important behind the mission of the food itself as well.
I guess so. You want to go ahead?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can.
I don't know how to expand on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so basically, like she said, wanting to have something that is, as pure as we can make it, and we could take certain shortcuts that we don't like. We literally make things harder for ourselves at multiple sacrifices really when it comes to it. But I think the integrity of our food is what is most important for us too. And so the bananas, a lot of the sources, it's kind of funny because we chose a product to sell that is the majority of it is tropical. a lot of the time. So we do have these, but we try to source local on everything that we can. So we get our blueberries from local farms. We get our maple syrup. It's Michigan maple syrup, strawberries, spinach, anything that we can get from like local farms is basically what we try to bring into the truck as well. So, part of it is also the community and like she had said before, building that community of like-minded people who just come and they're excited for something new and they tell their about it. And, that was something that we actually were looking. This year is a big year for us. We're renovating the truck, but then the other part of it is also we're like, okay, how can we be more involved with the community? What avenues can we do to actually, build relationships with the people around us to try to,
help make a better influence,
help it make a better impact.
Towards our community.
The YMCA, the Mulligan's Hollow ski hill, we built some wonderful relationships with them. Last year, this year because of COVID, we were actually in a normal spot. But last year we were parked right by the fire pit at Mulligan's ski hill in Grand Haven, and we donated to them and their cause as well throughout the year. So just getting in areas where we have that type of opportunity to make an impact, reach out to new people, support local. Local groups is kind of,
and other small businesses too. Like we collaborate with a lot of other small businesses or groups of people that are trying to do the same thing.
Yes.
The same mission.
Yeah, and I know every time I've come there, you guys have like local coffee that you're supporting from local coffee shops, which is excellent. And I know Dustin's always been about local farms and everything. And I love that. That's my favorite thing in the whole world. But so that's beautiful. And one thing I'll add here too is like, so Tiff and I are digging in a little bit more to things behind food, right? And there's like a company out there called the Environmental Working Group, or EWG, that allows you to type in any product that tells you like what type of scale it is as far as how it impacts your body. And why I bring that up is it sounds like you guys put all of that attention into your food before you make it, whether the customer knows that or not. When they walk away, that you gave them something that is truly good for their body, and they can go home knowing that they fed their kids something that actually is nutrition. And so that's beautiful.
So we make for our lattes, we make all of our own syrup from scratch, and we use unrefined sugar too, and coconut sugar, which sugar is not necessarily the best in general, but if we're gonna make some type of syrup with it, you
can definitely taste the difference. Just that kind of unbleached, that raw sugar just adds something different to your espresso. And one customer was raving about it a couple months
our
ago.
lavender honey latte.
That's like the best.
It's really good.
Best response like for asked for, as people telling other people about it. But it really makes a difference in the flavor and how it impacts your body. Just.
Well, I think a lot of times people will get certain things and they think it's healthy for them and they think they're doing good for their body.
Yeah.
But they know all these added things that are in there, and so that's why we end up making our own peanut butter, because we don't add any oil to it. We don't add any
sugar, no salt. It's just
nothing.
Peanuts.
It's just peanuts.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. See, all these things, what's very cool about this is these are the things that people don't know, right? Unless they're sitting at your truck asking you these questions, they're just happy to get a nice acai bowl that tastes amazing, right? And so that's really cool to uncover how much you guys put into that. So what I'm gonna queue up some pictures so that people can see the remodel. But as I do that, talk through what the future looks like. If you guys is it going to be like all year round, like the seasonality there, location based, new bowls? Just kind of walk us through that journey, and I'll pull up some pictures here so the audience can check it out.
All right. So this past year is actually one of the first years that we actually went all year round and didn't take any of the winter months off, which since we're in Michigan, it kind of like gives us new challenges as far as like insulating the truck, how to keep warm. We're serving frozen bowls, and like we have to get them to a point where we can actually serve them and they're not like blocks of ice. And plus we're freezing our hands off when we're like putting the truck up and opening the doors, like little things that people don't think about. And anyway, so we started redoing the truck, and we're going to try and insulate it a little bit more for the winter time. That window right there, we're actually putting, it was 3 windows, but now we're putting a wall up there. And then adding some more shelves right there.
Redoing all the cabinets and the plumbing, making the space basically more efficient.
It looks so sad right now. It's like
I don't know if some of the other pictures are more before, so that's
yeah.
But basically, it's really in our eyes an exciting and awesome thing, because when we had bought the trailer 4 years ago, it worked. It definitely worked for what it needed. And we did, we added a AC, to it a year ago, and slowly, made certain updates. But after, going into our 4th year, we've been blessed enough to have grown to the point where we need a more efficient space. And so that's why we decided to do the reno on the trailer, so that we can, add bigger water tanks, so you don't have to change the water out as often. Make the...
Yes, that's the before we tore everything out. So that was what it looked like
when we bought it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's, it's a nice space. It's been awesome so far, but there's just a lot of, there's a lot of efficiency to be added to it. And so that's our goal, is to have that done by May, so that this year we can hopefully continue to grow, and for years to come, as it becomes something that people know more about and get really excited about. We love where we are. We love our location. The city of Grand Haven has been really, really wonderful in working with us, because it's a city space, and so that's been a wonderful relationship. And as we continue to grow, we just hope that people, we love seeing the line get longer.
Yeah.
Love seeing people get excited when they come up. They're like, "Oh, what is this little thing right here?"
Kind of a hidden gem, and we kind of like it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
how do you, real quick, how is somebody never had an acai bowl before, which I'm sure probably might happen. Like, how do you describe what it is for people?
So the sweetest old man came up one day, and he was hungry. He just got done with swimming at the YMCA. And I was describing him one of the bowls, and he goes, "Sure, I'll take that." And then I gave it to him. He thought he was getting like some type of, I don't know, if like fruit cup or fruit sandwich of some, I don't know. He had no idea what he was getting. Anyways, he got it, and he took a bite of it, and he comes back all the time now, like almost on the weekly basis. It's just the cutest thing ever. But he's like 70 years old. But anyway, so we described to people that it's almost like a texture of, in the mix of a sorbet.
I say soft serve. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, like sorbet,
it's kind of a soft serve.
But we tell, especially kids, it's a healthy alternative for ice cream, or it tastes really similar to ice cream.
I always tell people it's a 100% fruit, dairy-free ice cream. So
nice.
Basically when we take the frozen acai and the frozen bananas and blend them, it just makes this really thick, creamy,
berry
like
flavor.
Frozen yogurt type texture. And because of the bananas sweeten it naturally, it becomes just this. It's hard to describe, but it's so addicting. It's really delicious. A little bit, you get a berry flavor. The banana's not too strong. Actually,
most of
really
the girls
mix.
on the truck hate bananas. I have like me and one other girl that loves bananas, but they love the acai bowls.
So we'll build that kind of. I'm just gonna say soft serve.
Okay.
So, we'll put the base in the bowl, and then And then almost all of the bowls have gluten-free granola, but you don't have to use granola, but it tastes amazing with it.
It adds like a nice
So I add
crunch.
a layer of granola and then whatever toppings that you want. And those are all fresh fruit. We also have superfoods like chia seeds, hemp seeds, cacao.
Founded bee pollen.
Yep. And then our most popular bowl is a little bit more decadent. However, I guess there's a reason why it's popular, right? So we use a dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate that we mix with coconut oil.
Yeah.
Glaze over the top of it with peanut butter, with our homemade peanut butter. So it really can be a sundae. I guess that's why I like to describe it that way, because it's so dang delicious. That I think that you could have one of our bowls and, maybe your hot fudge sundae was your favorite thing and you'll be hooked. I promise.
And I guess that's why sometimes we do just it like that, because otherwise when you tell somebody it's this healthy, they'll have like a bad stigma against healthy not tasting good, or it's gonna, I don't know, like, oh, that's not sweet, or that's, I don't know, that's not gonna satisfy my cravings, but it totally does.
Yeah, and we have a lot of other bowls that are, you could say don't have all the added sugar of chocolate if you don't want it. So we have like the unsalted bowl that has mangoes, blueberries, granola, and honey. Which one was it?
Oh, that
Which
one.
one am I talking about?
The mango blueberry. You're talking about the Aloha.
The Aloha bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I love you guys.
She really the show. I'm just I'm here for support and criticism. Constructive.
I just eat them. I don't know what their names are. I just eat them.
Oh, awesome, guys. Well, we can't jump into the music segment without at least bringing up the proposal. So, tell us in a nutshell. The proposal. How did it happen? And did you guys set a date yet?
Kind of roughly a date. So the proposal, my sister called me earlier and said, "Hey, the kids, my nieces and nephews, just got some new kites. Let's all get together and go fly them down at the beach on Sunday." In my head, I'm like, usually doesn't want to stuff, but oh my God, let's go. Sounds like fun. And so Sunday comes along, and I didn't realize he had dinner plans for me after the proposal, but I invited my whole family over to like grill out before we all went to the beach and everything. I had absolutely no idea. And so we're at my house, we get done eating, and we're getting to go down to the beach. And he says, "Do you want to get ready, or do you need to like change your clothes?" And I just was so oblivious. I'm like, "No, I'm fine." I'm like totally scrubbed out that day. Shower in a couple of days. And anyways,
beautiful.
We get down to the beach, and Logan, our 14-year-old daughter, she is into photography right now. And so she brought her camera down there, and she's taking pictures, and Dustin comes over and he's like, "Hey babe, let's get some pictures of us." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's get some pictures of us." And just having fun, being goofy. And then Logan says, "Dad, why don't you get down on one knee and act like you're going to propose to her?" And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, why are we doing fake proposal pictures? And then he got down on a knee and grabbed my hand and started talking. And I'm like, I thought it was a joke still. And then I saw his eyes and what he was saying. Yeah. And then we both lost it.
I love it, guys. I love it. And it feels like it was still, even though you've been together for a few years, it still felt like it was the first time, I imagine. And it was really cool. Yeah. So absolutely.
I was really, everything worked great though. I had actually bought the kids the kites. Hey Bridget, I need you to like invite Christyna. And then it all just worked out perfect, and she didn't throw me in the water. She said yes. Very good.
Awesome.
Were you expecting the cue from your daughter to do like the fake like that? That would have maybe that's an interesting dynamic to this story. So, just, or anything more to? Was that an instruction? Was like, what was that all about?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So she was the first person to know about the proposal, actually, and so she's been just a part of our life since our relationship started, obviously. And so we wanted to make sure that she was part of the proposal. She really fell into photography in the last year and just takes some really amazing photos. Grand Voyage photography on
that's awesome
for her. So I wanted her to take the proposal photos. I figured we could do this and make it something that wasn't too obvious, right? And so that was the plan. I worked with Logan and her sister and her sister's family, and planned to get us down there. And Logan would take pictures of her sister in order to find the right place and the best shot and whatever, and kind of play it off as sort of this, I'm practicing my photos. and then when she was ready, she kind of gave me a little wink, and that's when I went up to Christyna and said, hey, let's get some shots. And before we had done it, I had said, oh, this will be great, this will be perfect, say this. And so she did, and it was so funny. She had no idea, and it was just went from like silly to like crazy to shocked to happy to it was awesome.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Awesomeness. Well, cool. Well,
22.
Yeah. What was the date?
Next fall.
Next fall. Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, great. So any last few words before we kick it over? I don't know. Dustin, do you need a few minutes to get set up?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Cool. Any last words? I know you alluded to parenting and everything in there too. And so, parenting, entrepreneurship, anything lasting words you want to share with the audience?
That's funny. I'm surprised we didn't talk about that.
Right? I know. Yeah, it's been one of the biggest struggles, I think. I mean, when we first started the business, we had our first year. They were open. I got pregnant during our second year. I was pregnant the whole time. So I was still able to work quite a bit. And then the third year, last year, was managing it and trying to balance everything.
And you guys, Troy, you definitely know how that is.
Sure. Yes.
And that definitely comes with its challenges. You have to understand, that you can't maybe work as much on something as had you not had children. So I think part of that's being okay with like growing slow, doing what you can, really doing, being patient with your business, because as long as you continue doing the right things, you have the right, mission behind it, things will pan out. It's just, you got to be a little more patient when you have the kids, but
keep moving forward.
And it's been so fantastic, and I don't think either one of us would change about it.
No, I don't think the business would be as successful had we not had Jackson, because I don't know, when you have kids, all of a sudden this motivation kicks in.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about you anymore or about your own survival. Like, you got to do it for your family, and you kind of get this power in a way. I don't know.
And what you guys are building is something that Jackson can be a part of, right? He can grow up and learn from, and nutrition and health and everything. And so all of that is blended together.
So we have a website, voyagebowls.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook. That's really good to follow us, especially because, until busy season, our hours can, fluctuate, but we'd love for anybody watching to follow us. Come try us sometime in Grand Haven, but there's times where we do different events as well. So you might find us in Grand Rapids every now and then.
Yeah, I think the first event is actually in Grand Rapids at the Fulton Street Market downtown.
Yeah, awesome.
I think it's in.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I did, thanks for sharing that too, Dustin. I did share your guys' website for anybody that's going to watch this later. Also on the podcast, this show sits as a podcast as well and can be downloaded on any podcast stream. So please, yes, follow you guys. If anybody lives out of state, can they contact you for recipes to learn how to maybe make it themselves wherever they live?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
All right. Well,
Love sharing tips on all that stuff.
and tips for pet bulls. Nick's I know he's anxious to hear that one.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So Dustin, would love to have you play a song for us. I know we've kind of keyed this up a little bit, but if you want to take it away for a song, and then we'll end with Nick in the kitchen.
Sounds great. Would you mind pulling back the phone bit in here?
You know, I could have asked you to reenact the moment that you started serenading Christyna in the bar.
I'm not trying to pressure you. Didn't just stop thinking about you. You ain't even really gotta be my girlfriend.
Oh, this was me then.
I just wanna know. And maybe sometime we can hook up. I probably messed up like that too when we were doing it.
Oh my God, it was so cute. It was the cutest.
Awesome, man.
All right, so I tried to think of a song that I hadn't played last time when Blue and I played. This song is on our album Dragonfly. You can find it on Apple Music, Spotify, basically any streaming platform. Fan base and Dragonfly, and this song's called Skinny Dipping. I can tell by the way that you look tonight that the night is gonna end up right. You've got candy on your breath in your little black dress. Girl, you couldn't be better than all of the rest. Let's take some time from that world outside and get lost in the casual time. Your eyes to the wheels fall off and we lose our thoughts. Yeah, we'll sing through the night, 'cause this is your song, your song. Now you know my dreams and my bad memories. They're just pictures of the past. You know I'm better than that. If we get too far ahead of our hearts, pull the throttle back to low. Yeah, we'll take back control. You know all I'm ever really thinking of is how much I want a part of your crazy, crazy love. Crazy love. The lake is waiting for the tender kiss of your skin upon her mouth. The taste of you ripples through the night, defining love unknown till now. Moonlight shines all upon the shore while I count down in your bed. Fireflies dance in the proscenium of your eyes, fill our hearts and lay to lay to rest. I can tell by the way that you look tonight that the night is gonna end up right. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful.
Thank you guys so much. That was beautiful. And I just loved how that, I could just see the passion and the love between you both as you were singing that song. I thought that was such a special moment. And I'm really embarrassed to have to follow up your segment with my segment. I don't know how I can actually even replace that. So, wow. I'm speechless.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We always invite our guests to stick around to watch Nick in the Kitchen if you have time. Also, you can throw questions at him. You can poke fun at him or whatever you want to do. But as he has fun in the kitchen, we love for you guys to stick around for sure.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. I'm going to bring Nick on to the show. Nick, I know you got something exciting in the kitchen, man. You always do. So take it away.
Yes, I do. And thank you to our wonderful guests of Voyage Bowls. What wonderful things they're doing out there in the world of just really curating, amazing food from great sources. And, everything that they're sharing is they're going the extra mile. And it does take a lot of effort and extra time, like to cut your own bananas and then freeze them, right? Like, all those things to really care about the other people really is at the heart of I think what it really means to be a chef. So you're right there. So, but yes, that's one man's opinion, one person's opinion. But that is, I know exactly what that's about. And a lot of times when I step into the kitchen, sometimes getting into the kitchen is the last place what someone wants to be, last place I might want to be. But if I can really ground myself in that intention of like going to the extra length to grow and contribute for someone else's well-being, to give something rather than to get something in return, I really do believe like that's really the most powerful role and responsibility that I can play as someone who's preparing someone's food. So with all that being said, since we were talking about bowls tonight, I'm really hungry now for an acai bowl. So I really am going to have to get maybe some tidbits. I've never really done an acai bowl myself, but one of the things that this segment is going to sort of cover is, one, inspiration from our guests tonight, and then two, Troy, you're going to love this because this is a part of our dad's cooking corner. So this is a dish, a very easy, simple meal that you can prepare for your kids, and you can just sort of facilitate the experience. It's very fun. It's super simple. And it's called the Wyld and Wise Breakfast Bowl. And there's different variations, much like the acai bowl. You can do different things with it, right? You can add different toppings, or you can, whatever you want to do is sort of the world is your oyster with this thing. But it's essentially like a porridge, right? So what we're going to be doing is combining cooked quinoa, oats, chia seeds, and some type of milk alternative. And what's going to happen is that when the chia seeds and the liquid integrate, it's going to make sort of a gelatinous type of porridge. And so you essentially mix all those ingredients together, which we're going to do. And then you put it in this fridge overnight. And then when you wake up, you've got this like really awesome porridge or soaked oats, as it might also be called, for yourself the next morning.
Cool.
Or it might really only take about 4 to 5 hours too, depending on. So, but anyway, yeah, so this is the Wyld and Wise breakfast bowl. And it's also because weather is starting to heat up a little bit. Like hot oatmeal just isn't really my jam, right? I want something, you know, a little bit cooler and more fresh tasting. And so this is also in that vein. So the things that you're going to need, the first thing that you're going to want to do, which I've already done, is you're going to want to cook up the quinoa per your package instructions. So it's usually 1 part quinoa, 2 parts liquid, right? So 1 cup of quinoa, 2 cups of liquid. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix about a little bit over a cup of quinoa, and I'm going to put this all in a big kitchen bowl. And then I am going to add my rolled gluten-free oats. About a cup there, maybe a touch more. And then I'm going to add my chia seeds. It's going to be roughly 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to eyeball it. So the more chia seeds you have, the more gelatinous it's going to be. The less chia seeds that you're going to have, it's going to be a little bit more liquidy, but it just kind of depends.
I love chia seeds.
Yes, they're so good.
I love them.
And there's chock full of omega-3s, so they're really good and healthy for you. And then you'll want to have some sort of sweetener. You could do agave, you could do honey, you could do maple syrup. I'm going to do agave tonight. I'm just going to eyeball it here and then taste check it in just a little bit. The other thing I'm doing tonight is you could do this without cacao powder, but I'm going to go ahead and add some cacao powder to make this have a little bit of a chocolatey taste in the end. So I'm going to add some of that. Let's go for a little bit more. I like chocolate. All right. And then final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix sort of these semi-dry ingredients together first before I add my liquid. And Troy, we'll put a recipe up as well for folks so that they know exact measurements for when they're doing this at home with their kids. But essentially what you're going to do next is then add the liquid to the dry ingredients. And then once you're kind of good and mixed up, you want to break down the cacao seeds or the powder. And you can make huge batches of this. This is what I do. I made like a big batch, and then I let it sit in my fridge for about a week. And so I just do this like once a week. And I've got myself a pretty healthy, little breakfast treat every morning, if that's my cup of tea. So what's going to happen? So you can kind of see it's very liquidy right now, right? So it sort of looks like pancake batter. Well, that's not what it's going to end up, because the chia seeds in the liquid are going to expand, and it's going to make your once overnight, it's going to make it look almost gelatinous. You can kind of see how it kind of clumps together. So that's what's going to happen when you put it in the fridge overnight or for about 4 to 5 hours. So once you have that patient process done, we're going to go ahead and mix up our little Wyld and Wise breakfast bowl. So a couple things that I'm going to be using here tonight. I've got some raspberries. If this was summertime, I'd be using probably raspberries from my dad's garden. Bananas are obviously, I don't know how I could get a banana local in Minnesota, but if I could, I would. And then I have a little bit of granola that I make that I'm also going to throw on top. So first things first, let's get that banana. Oh, we want to actually put the contents of the bowl down to the bottom first. And then I'm going to go ahead and slice up some banana.
Nick, I'll tell you this too. There's a fruit called a pawpaw, which is grown in northern states that actually tastes a little bit like a banana.
No kidding, a pawpaw?
Yep, a pawpaw. It's actually grown in Michigan. I think it might even be able to be grown in Minnesota, but it's said to have tasted like banana, so they call it the Michigan banana.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look this up, Troy. This is mind blowing. This could change. This could change the Voyage Bowl forever. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my bananas here, just kind of right on the side. I know you guys can't see, but let's see if I can get people to see. Not so good at lighting. So let's see here. So I'm going to do my bananas, and then I'm going to do my granola. I think it's a lot like an acai bowl, right?
Yeah, looking pretty close. Do you make granola?
What's that? I do make my own, yes. And then I'll just top it with some fresh berries. And what might be really nice here would be some of that coconut chocolate that we were being the decadent style would be really nice here. But you could also do you could top it with some, nice honey. You could also do some bee pollen, I guess, flaxseed, whatever kind of floats your boat. But the idea here is that we want to just kind of throw some fresh fruits on there. And right now you kind of have yourself a very fancy, breakfast bowl that kind of mimics oatmeal, but it's also kind of, I believe, sort of takes it up just a little bit of a notch. So here it is, the Wyld and Wise breakfast bowl. You could obviously, I've done things in the past where I don't add the cocoa powder or the cacao powder. I add some vanilla bean to it and then make like a apple bacon compote to go on top of it. So there's different things that one can do with this that can really do some other variations and do some fun things with. So.
Oh, that's perfect. And
but
so
thank you, Voyage Bowls, for the inspiration tonight. This was fun to make, and it's just fun and simple. So,
you've inspired us. Yeah, that's really good. Thank you.
So Nick, you alluded to it earlier, but just real quick for anybody that listens to this show and hasn't caught any of the previous, can you share a little bit about what inspired the Daddy Breakfast Club, the program that you're kind of building up here?
Yeah. So. Really kind of, I think a lot of it started with us just, learning more about your experience, Troy, and, you're the father of 4. And we had this amazing guest on who has this thing called Saturdays, Daddy Saturdays.
Yep, Daddy Saturdays. Wrote a book about it too, yeah.
And we were just... I was just really inspired by, his name just slipped my brain. What was his name, Troy?
Justin Batt.
Justin Batt, yeah. So what Justin was talking about was just like how he wants to really just find fun activities for fathers to be involved with on Saturdays, and just to be present and fully engaged and to have experiences. And so I just learning more about what Troy does and how he's inspiring his family to eat healthy and just, just through this whole observation of things. I just wanted to create, a resource, a platform where fathers can come and, find culinary inspiration. And if it's on Saturdays, great. If it's on Thursdays, great. But like, where are some recipes that like fathers can do and maybe interact with their children that are healthy, but also really fun. It doesn't always necessarily about being healthy. It's just about actually engaging and being present and having that experience of creating a meal together and then sharing it with your kids. So that's what kind of is inspiring this.
Beautiful.
Pretty cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and for anybody else that's listening to it, I know Nick and I are working on this, hopefully with Justin in the future, which is bringing Daddy Saturdays or any type of Daddy food club that we come up here to your community. And so Nick and I are talking about what it looks like in our own communities and start building that up of groups to help fathers. So very cool. Thanks, Nick. All right. Well, thank you, everybody that watched live. We know we had a few people in and out there, and we'll have people watch this later, especially on the podcast and everything. But thanks again to our guest, Dustin and Christyna, sharing their story, starting from when they met all the way to their proposal and then owning their business together and parenting. So thank you guys so much for joining the show. If you're just joining us for the first time on this episode, we talk about everything farm, food, family, and most importantly, fun. You'll catch a lot of laughter, a lot of value, and then awesomeness in the kitchen with Chef Nick. So thank you again for joining us tonight, and we hope to catch you next week.
Thank you all. Have a beautiful week.